come on in the space. Welcome to FinOps in Full Bloom. I'm Talia, your friendly neighborhood fam, and today we are with Balaji. How are you? I'll give you a moment. I'm going to read your actual description, but I'd love for you to just say hello. Narayana. So Balaji Narayanan is his name, but I just want to pass the rain stick to you so you can say hi.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone from wherever you're watching. Super excited to be on this conversation with Talia. Talia, thank you very much for the opportunity to having me here.
Thank you so much for having yourself here. Okay, so we'll do the actual intro. I'm going to read it, so I want to get it right. VP of Infrastructure and Engineering at Clari, with over 25 years of experience in large-scale systems, so be ready to take notes, heroes. He translates complex challenges into actionable solutions, fostering a culture of continuous learning and innovation. That entire intro and bio is impressive, and it makes me want to know so much more. Every word is potent. Large-scale systems, complex challenges, actionable solutions. You're just a driving force of energy in here. And then continuous learning and innovation. How are you piling all of this into one thing? I need to know. But that's the whole point of the podcast episode. So I'd love to pass the rain stick to you and ask you, is there anything else you'd like to share about yourself?
No, I think you read out my bio, and thank you. Happy to share insights as we go into each of these areas during the discussion.
Oh, perfect. Then we'll start off with hot takes. Hot takes is just me sharing a question with you, and you share what's on the top of your mind, just what comes to your heart. First question, there are two. First question is, what's your favorite Cloud Zero feature?
My favorite Cloud Zero feature is Optimize. The reason why I like that is you think that you have figured out everything in terms of cost optimization, and then suddenly you will see a notification pop up. And then you will go wondering, how didn't I think about it? How did I not catch that earlier? So the most important thing is the insights that it provides and things that you may have missed out as part of your routines. So that is the biggest feature that I like about in Cloud Zero.
Oh, I love that. Are you going to use the automation part where you turn it into a workflow for Jira?
We are starting to do that. It's most probably now a few of us looking at the insights and the notification that comes in. But definitely it has to be tried into how we do our work so that the feedback loop is completely closed.
And it engages the engineers in a way that they actually naturally work. But I love, you're the first person with the Optimize high five there. Hello. And
Yeah.
to just be exploring it, it's a new release feature. That's why I'm sharing heroes that Balaji is one of the first. So congratulations on taking advantage of it. And I'm so glad, high five to Cloud Zero for making it something that's enjoyable for you. I'd love to hear more feedback if you have any. I'm sure your fam too would love to hear any improvements because we're always ready to elevate the client experience.
Absolutely. So the insights is what we have been using, and insights has been transformed into Optimize.
Yes.
And the biggest thing is that Optimize brings in more insights than what it was there before. That is why I like that feature.
Nice. Because we're actually looking at the resources and able to give curated recommendations. Speaking of optimization, that's my second hot take question. You're getting right on topic. Okay. The question is, does innovation fuel cost optimization? Yes, no, maybe. What do you think?
I think I'm going to maybe definitely give you an answer that's going to be a hot take. Innovation and optimization are tightly linked. However, I think one feed on top of the other.
Yeah.
As in, you need to optimize to have the runway, the budget, the reduced complexity, and the capacity to focus on high value work, which drives innovation. And then when you do innovation, you go in with new technologies, new architecture, new processes, and that creates more opportunities for optimization. So I believe that's a flywheel. Optimization without innovation is uh, is either incremental or it is short-lived. Innovation without optimization is going to be difficult to sustain. So you need to connect both to have a true flywheel so that they reinforce each other.
Yeah, that's beautiful. They walk together on the same path moving forward. Okay, moving forward. This transformation story segment is really about what challenge you may have had and sharing the strategy. As a fam, so many different teams come to me and they ask the same question: what's everyone else doing? Just to get tips and strategies. So, really, this podcast is a way to knowledge share on problems and how solution based people address them. So, do you have a transformation story that I gathered? And I have a short summary, but I'd love to dive into it. Just unreliable forecasting. Just 2 words: womp womp. Unreliable forecasting. So, how are you addressing this? What did the challenge look like, and what are you doing to walk towards a solution for this? I'd love to hear.
Sure. So 2 years ago, when we started on this journey, I didn't have a good understanding of what all my spend.
Hmm.
Some of them was through systems, some of them was through non-standard forms, like maybe a leader was purchasing something. And what we have done is from there to today is a robust process. And how we did that is first understanding where the spend was going. So it is as simple as getting an inventory together of all the spends, then understanding what is rightful spend and what is not the rightful spend, and then figure out how we are going to work towards our business objectives, which is our gross margin is sustainable. From there, we have put in processes and tools in place so that for the past 3 years, we have reduced our cost 1% year on year. That is a story that I would like to
Oh,
share with you.
I have to applaud. I have to do a round of applause in a big old circle. Reducing your cost 1% year over year consistently. These words, they're so small, but they mean so much. Do you have a formula? Is there a copy paste that we can use?
Unfortunately, there is no copy paste formula itself to do it, but the framework is
Mm.
definitely copy paste. Understand where your spend are, and that is where it starts with. The first important thing is visibility into what is happening and where the spend is going. Once you have that, introduce a process for tracking that. And you can start small. And I'm a big believer in crawl, walk, and run. You don't want to go in and start off with a robust process. You don't want to start with tools in there. Start with maybe simple spreadsheets. Have a inventory and review them periodically. Once you do that, set clear guidelines on what is the expectation and what is the process and the investments that we are doing to get towards those expectations. And then drive that and make sure that you are meeting your goals.
Oh, well, you actually gave an actual like step by step here. Heroes, I hope you were taking notes. If not, like get your phone notes app open or get your pen, because that was a step by step outline of how to succeed here. Now, you had mentioned tools. So, what tools were you using to help you reach that year over year 1%? I mean, I'm blown away.
Sure. Uh, as I said, the first tool that we did was simple spreadsheets, put in an inventory of everything that was going on. And then we started with low hanging fruits. AWS Cost Explorer is an amazing tool that provides certain insights. But at the same time, you also need a PhD to understand and use that. That is okay. It was only a small set of folks that we were looking at it. And that is what we did. Understand, do we have the right savings plan in place? Do we have the right RIs in place? Do we have the right set of coverages in place? And then is we got in Cloud Zero. And the goal for getting Cloud Zero was to ensure that we are able to see spend across multiple vendors in one place. When you want to go and do an optimization, you want to do global optimizations with the least amount of effort. So having a visibility in one place across all the spends across n different vendors was important. And then we started off with simple effort, which is, can we go talk to our vendors to renegotiate contracts?
Nice.
Which is the most easiest thing where a couple of people can go in and do that. And that leads you to savings. Then I already talked about savings plans and RIs. That gets you the next set of savings. From there, we started figuring out how a small set of Tiger team can work on optimization across the entire ecosystem of our engineering.
Wow.
And we did this work by a small set of teams and not eating into the R&D budget, because the R&D budget is what is fueling our innovation, as we talked about earlier.
Oh, that's powerful. Okay, so then how are you? So you have these small sets of teams, and they're responsible for a wide set of data and spend. How are you tracking measurements? Your RIs you're comparing before and after, but other things just wanted to know from your perspective.
Excellent question. So, first, what we are doing is a current inventory of what our spend is and what is our goal for this year. From there, we break that down on a quarterly or a half yearly basis on what we want our spend to be. And then we identify which projects are we going to do for that quarter or that half, which is going to result in the savings. We track the project execution and make sure that the measurements, which is usually a lagging indicator
Mm,
of, so you may need to finish the project and wait a month or two for you to realize those savings.
okay. So now you're learning and you're tracking. It seems like we're going back to your bio for learning and innovation. So have you found those to be motivators for business value from the bottoms up perspective?
Absolutely. When you go in and tell your product leaders that you have additional budget that you can go spend on right now, they can go in and execute on newer projects. As I told about the flywheel between innovation and optimization, that is where this comes in. You have more capacity to go in and work on newer projects, while at the same time you are having a visibility into your bottom.
Oh, that's powerful. Okay, so you've engaged the team. You're using innovation. You to do these things. There had to be some lessons learned. So, do you have some tips for our heroes and lessons for them on this journey? Because it doesn't. I'm sure it's not okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. We did it in a day.
It I think you're asking the right question over here. First of all, most people think of these optimizations and FinOps practice as somebody who sits in finance and does this work.
Yeah.
It is not. It is a shared culture and an accountability across the R&D organization and finance. And there has to be a handshake, and there has to be
Mm.
clear shared guidelines between these two teams. And that is where it starts. And from there, you need to have a shared language that you're using. If you're building a new product line, do you have a business case that watches both the top line and the bottom line? If you're doing an optimization, what is the value that it is going to provide?
Yes.
What is the outcome it is going to provide? And from there, you empower the teams to go in from there to go and achieve the outcomes that we want to do.
And you said something potent. You said there has to be a handshake. That okay, Balaji. This is you coming from my heart here
Yeah,
because you put culture and you put any moving force to go forward together because you both have come to the same place together and agreed on something. And you're talking that same language to your point about business value. You shared that you looked across your teams, you looked across your products, and you checked which was offering business value. So it's not always just cost. It sounds like it's also value that's driving this.
it's the business outcomes that is driving that. Absolutely.
Absolutely amazing. Potent. This is good. I mean, these are tips that can fuel you for any. You can take that's the formula. That's the copy paste to move over. Check, find the business value, and there has to be a handshake. I mean, these are quotables here. I don't know.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna see if there's other things I can find. The
There's
next
actually one other thing that I forgot to mention, the most important thing. The key thing about all this is persistence and perseverance. It may look hard. It is difficult, and there you might get frustrated and you want to give up.
yeah.
But you have to keep going until you achieve this outcome. And that is a key thing that I've learned in this entire process.
And I think that fosters innovation. You know, that perseverance, you have to find new ways to motivate yourself, new ways to look at something. Yes, we have cut cost here. Now what's next is going to be the question. How do we
Yep.
do it? And so this consistent year over year, I'm coming back to it because biology, come on, 1% reduction year over year, I'm done. So that first year, check. Okay, you've gotten all the low hanging fruit. That persistence is necessary because someone's coming back to you and saying, can you do it again? And then the next year, can you do it again? How are you getting it into yourself to look for the next? What is the next after you did the initial? Then you find the business value. Are you looking for business value? You're nodding, yes?
Yes. Yes. Now I'm getting to a state where every new feature or every new product that we are looking at has a business case for both the top line and the bottom.
Perfect.
And we are ensuring that as you build that case, you have the checks and balances in place, because you can only do so much by optimization. So you need to go in to the next step where you're also increasing the top line. And we have created the bandwidth, the runway for us to improve the top line right now. So you go in and put in the controls as part of the business cases as you launch newer features.
And then that also gives you opportunities to optimize. I'm loving where this is going. Actually, to where it's going is the next question. Where do you think FinOps is going? What trends are you seeing in FinOps?
I'm noticing a couple of trends.
Okay.
One is the rapid rise of AI
Yeah.
is creating a lot of opportunity for innovation, but it is also a risk for your optimization and cost.
Mm,
You need to understand, how do we control the AI related costs and your scaling responsibly.
yeah.
On the key opportunity side that I see is now AI can help me better forecast, better optimize. We talked about optimize, better anomaly detection. How do I know when there is something that is going wrong and I can figure that out sooner so I can put in better controls in place? So I see this as both an opportunity and a risk. You have to embrace that risk and go for the opportunity for the win.
I like that. If you go further, how far would you take AI? Would you give it the ability to have a role to shut down services or even buy RIs?
I do not know that yet. I think what I would like to do is work AI be an assistant or an agent for me rather than be an autonomous agent,
Yes.
which does on its own. I would like AI to tell me, make my life easier, but I
Yeah.
still would want to review before I buy an RI or shut down a service or do an optimization.
Yeah. Make it an intern first. Start at the bottom. Bottoms up.
Yep, yep, yep. I love how you brought in bottoms up right over there.
You see it? You see it? I'm
Yeah,
remembering. Yeah, you have to have a handshake and bottoms up. I'm following you. I'm taking, like, you
yep,
don't see it, but inside my heart, there's like, I'm like scribbling away for notes. Okay, so we're in
done.
our next section. Almost at the end of this whole beautiful podcast. You've been a delight, actually.
Thank you.
Okay, next session is our full bloom section where we ask, where seeds are you sowing, where are you nurturing, and where are you blooming? So to start off, what seeds are you sowing in FinOps or for yourself?
My finance team recently came back
Yeah.
from a FinOps training, and they said that Balaji, what we are doing today at Clary is top notch, and other people are looking up to us. So I believe the bar is already high.
Yeah.
What the next steps that I'm looking at is a culture of accountability across product engineering and finance. I want to ensure that teams are cost aware as they build and design their architecture. And my goal is to equip them with the tools and the data that they need to, to make decisions and create a strong foundation of ownership. That is the most important seeds that I'm trying to plant right now.
Yes, I believe that transparency leads to accountability. Once you see it, then you can actually say, let's have a conversation. Even anomalies can have that blameless discussion, but you see it now. You
Yeah.
may not have known what I call the cost of pushing code. That is impactful. I mean, VP of Infrastructure and Engineering, of course you're here sowing these seeds for efficient engineering. I'm excited about it. Okay, so then what are you nurturing inside of FinOps?
The ownership and accountability is what I talk about. I take that to my heart,
Yeah.
and that is what I'm trying to nurture. And when you want to nurture ownership and accountability, you want to start with the why. Tell why something is important, and tell what is a target that we want to achieve, and leave the how to the teams. They're all smart people, and all they need to know is why is something that is important, because they may not have that connection, and then leave it to them to go and figure out how to achieve that. And then you also need the right control and review processes. So ensure that we have monthly, quarterly reviews that is tracking the progress, and do we need to go and adjust them. Then finally, the most important thing is visibility.
Mm.
Are we sharing these wins with everybody across the company? Be it through all hands, be it through business review. So that is what I am nurturing right now towards.
I love that. You say visibility, and my first thing is cost visibility, but you changed it. Like you changed this visibility into, the teams have visibility into what's happening, the progress that you're making. You're making that visible.
Yes.
Nice.
And that is important because you don't want to be sitting in a corner and doing all those optimizations. You need to let the rest of the company know what work is happening.
So true. I was a DevOps engineer, and really, I would always tell me, people would ask me, what do you do? And I'd say, okay, you have an app. When it's working, I'm working. When it's broken, I'm double working. So I would be on infrastructure, but sometimes I would push, I would be in a release session and I would be pushing code with a team and have no clue what the feature is. I'm just pushing files of code. We would then have meetings once a week where they would do a display of what the app is. And I'm like, that's what healthcare, like platform portal? What? I mean, when you start to see, oh, how what you're doing manifests, there's the heart of it. That gets the handshake. You see what I'm doing there? I'm lining all of your lessons up. I'm a good student,
Beautiful.
by the way.
Yeah. You are a good speaker, and you're tying together all the points into one. So thank you, Tali.
Yeah, and also for our heroes, always wrapping it up. I learn repetitively, so I always try to put it back in my head. Okay, so we're at the last one. Where are you blooming?
So the culture that we need of accountability, and how do we ensure that the the shared responsibility that we are talking about, right? It is not just a FinOps exercise. It is not just a finance exercise. How do we get that shared culture? And then how are we doing the loop that we talked about? Define, execute, measure, repeat. So that's what I'm working on in terms of loop.
Oh, I love that. Define, execute, measure. You really give bullet point notes. I love, you would be a fantastic, you mentor. I believe you're kind of a mentor energy. Is that right?
Yes.
Called
Yes.
it. I love that. I hope you're in the FinOps Foundation. I hope that we'll get to see each other more often inside of that world, because I think that there's certain people who you want to, because I believe in elders. Anyone who knows more than me, I consider them like elder. So I believe it's sitting at the knee of elders and listening. And the way that you share information is so relatable and it's so refreshing. So it sparks my brain all the time. And I'm like, and you say it in ways that help me. They're so bite-sized, I can remember them and keep it, like they're big enough for me to hold in my heart, and I can keep them with me and pull it out. I know it's a strange little picture. So I'm just
Thank
saying
you.
that to say, I appreciate how you share with your clarity. See what I did there? Clarity. Okay, final question. Easy breezy question. When you want to get it done, what's on your get it done playlist? What do you like to listen to?
I like instrumental music. It is usually either what you call as the elevator music or a Carnatic fast-paced instrumental music. That's what I listen to.
Oh, I love
It
that.
puts me in a space where I don't need to understand the tunes. It gives me the vibe so I can continue working.
True. I love a drumming experience because sometimes I just need to feel driven through something. So like if I can get a good pace, I'm here for that. And you would think that sometimes you just need something soothing, but if I need to like motivate myself through something, it like it has that pulsing energy.
Yep.
Or if I'm doing something else like troubleshooting an invoice, please soothe me. And tea, please. Actually, Balaji, has been a delight. I really just want to say thank you so, so much for taking the time. It's not something you can get back. Time is very precious, and you've spent some of it here. Thank you so much for participating. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I really have.
Thank you, Talia. No, this is an amazing opportunity, and I really, really appreciate you giving me this opportunity. It also helps me to put my thoughts together. So, as you are asking these questions, and it also makes me think, okay, what more can I take from here and go back and put this into practice for my day to day work?
Because you're
So,
always
thank you for the
evolving.
opportunity.
You're just ever evolving. I love it. Okay, do you want to help me say goodbye to all the heroes?
Goodbye, Class Zero Heroes. Thank you
See
very
you
much for
later.
watching.
See you later, heroes. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and leave in the comments where you're blooming. Bye.